On October the 5th, 2014, Formula 1 was forever changed when tragedy struck at the Japanese Grand Prix. Jules Bianchi, a talented and much anticipated driver, was racing in horrendous conditions at the Suzuka circuit when his car lost control and collided with a wheel loader. The impact was severe, leaving Bianchi with life-threatening injuries and ultimately leading to his death. But could this have been completely prevented entirely? Many believe so. This is the infamous death of Jules Bianchi. Jules Bianchi was born on August 3rd, 1989 in Nice, France, to parents Philip and Christine Bianchi. He grew up immersed in a family deeply rooted in motorsport. His parents provided the foundation for his passion for racing, but it was much more than that. The sport was not just an interest but a legacy for the Bianchi family. Jules' grandfather, Mauro Bianchi, was a prominent GT racer during the 1960s, and his great-uncle, Lucien Bianchi, achieved glory by winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1968 and competing in Formula 1 across 19 Grand Prix events. Like many aspiring F1 drivers, his journey into motorsport began at an early age, as he started karting at just 3 years old. Luckily for him, his father owned a karting track which made it so he could practice often. His potential was soon recognised, and by the time he was 17, he was being managed by Nicolas Todd, a key figure in motorsport talent development. In 2007, he transitioned from karting to single-seater racing, joining the French Formula Renault 2 series with SG Formula. In his debut season, Jules won 5 races and secured the championship. By 2008, Bianchi had joined the Formula 3 Euro Series with ART Grand Prix, where he finished 3rd overall and claimed victory at the Masters of Formula 3 at Zolder. The following year, he dominated the F3 Euro Series, winning 8 races and securing the championship title. Jules, who was now a member of the Ferrari Driver Academy, advanced to the GP2 Series in 2010, finishing 3rd for 2 seasons before placing 2nd in the 2012 Formula Renault 3.5 Series. In 2013, he debuted in Formula 1 with Marussia, and the following year he made history at the Monaco Grand Prix by finishing 9th, earning the team's first ever points. Despite his completely unconventional start to life, he remained humble. He often shied away from speaking about his achievements and described himself as a shy, calm guy who was focused on what he wanted to achieve. On the 5th of October 2014, Jules was making his 34th start to his Formula 1 career, and this race was to be held at one of the most famous racetracks in history, Japan's own Suzuka circuit. The Suzuka circuit, located in Japan, is one of the most respected and challenging tracks in Formula 1. Designed in 1962 by Dutch architect John Hugenholtz, it was originally a test track for Honda. The track is unique for its figure 8 layout, the only one of its kind in the F1 calendar. It has a combination of fast straights and challenging corners, and it's a track that rewards experience and confidence, but punishes even small mistakes, making it a favourite among drivers and fans alike. Driver Nico Hülkenberg once said, "Suzuka is built for drivers as it ticks all the boxes. It's such an amazing track behind the wheel, especially in a modern Formula 1 car, and it's certainly one of the best circuits out there." The 2014 Japanese Grand Prix, held at the Suzuka circuit, was notably influenced by Typhoon Fanfone, which brought heavy rain and challenging conditions to the event. Despite these not so ideal conditions, the race proceeded as scheduled. The start was delayed due to the downpour, leading to the initial laps being conducted behind the safety car to assess track conditions. After 2 laps, the race was temporarily halted with a red flag to allow for the rain to subside before starting again. Once the race resumed, drivers faced persistent rain and reduced visibility, making the already demanding circuit even more treacherous. On lap 43, under worsening weather conditions, Adrian Sutil's Sauber had crashed at turn 7. A recovery vehicle was dispatched to remove his car. Whilst this operation was underway, Bianchi lost control of his car on the same corner. Due to the wet conditions, he aquaplaned off the track and collided head-on with the wheel loader being used. This was entirely caught on camera. The impact was so forceful that it partially lifted the wheel loader off the ground, causing Sutil's Sauber, which had been suspended by the crane, to fall back to the track. The crash also completely destroyed the roll bar. Bianchi, who was now unconscious, was treated by medical personnel on the scene before being transported to hospital, but this took way longer than it normally should as they couldn't use a helicopter due to bad conditions. The race was immediately red flagged, bringing it to an early conclusion. With the event concluded, Lewis Hamilton was declared the winner, but this was the last thing on anybody's mind. Following Jules Bianchi's crash, the motorsport community was left in shock. He was rushed to the Mai Prefectural General Medical Center in Yokkaichi, where he underwent emergency surgery for severe head injuries. The FIA, Formula One's governing body, immediately launched an investigation into the crash, focusing on the factors that led to the accident and whether safety protocols were adequate. The incident sparked an emotional outpouring from drivers and fans alike. Felipe Massa, visibly shaken, expressed the shared sentiment among many, saying, "We are all very sad. We are all thinking about him and his family." With widespread sadness also came anger and mounting criticism. The FIA's investigation concluded with a few different findings, but mostly they said that Bianchi was going too fast and did not slow enough under double yellow flags. This finding led to significant backlash, as it seemed they were blaming Jules rather than themselves for letting this race take place in the first place. Fans voiced their outrage, particularly over the decision to continue the race in such dangerous weather conditions. The rain and visibility were bad, and a recovery vehicle had been deployed on the track. Many believe that the race should not have gone ahead under those conditions, arguing that the accident could have been entirely prevented. There was widespread condemnation from the public, with calls for stricter safety measures. The presence of a recovery vehicle on the track during live racing became a central point of contention. Fans and pundits alike demanded greater accountability from the governing bodies, with some suggesting that the race should have been halted sooner. Marussia was also cleared of any blame. In response to the backlash from the crash, the FIA introduced several safety changes, including the virtual safety car system in 2015, allowing races to continue without full safety car deployment when recovery vehicles are on track. They also focused on improving visibility during wet conditions and implemented stricter guidelines for recovery vehicle placement, ensuring they would not be on the track during live races unless under a safety car. While the changes aim to address concerns, the debate over the race's preventability persists to this day. Jules Bianchi's family filed a lawsuit against the FIA, alleging negligence in the circumstances surrounding his crash, and this case was settled out of court in 2018 without a public admission of liability. Jules Bianchi's condition remained critical after the crash, and after his time at the Mai Prefectural General Medical Center in Japan, he was transferred to a hospital in Nice for specialised care. Despite the efforts of medical teams, Bianchi never regained consciousness and remained in a coma for the next several months. His family and the motorsport community as a whole maintained a constant vigil throughout this period, holding on to hope for his recovery. However, on July the 17th, 2015, after nearly 9 months of being in a coma, Bianchi passed away from the injuries sustained in Suzuka. He had suffered a diffuse axonal injury, which is a severe form of brain trauma. The tragic news sent shockwaves through the motorsport world, as Bianchi became the first Formula One driver to die from injuries sustained in a Grand Prix since the death of Ayrton Senna in 1994. In a statement released by his family, they expressed their immense grief, saying, "Jules fought to the end, as he has always done, but yesterday, his battle ended." Bianchi's funeral took place on July the 21st, 2015, at Nice Cathedral, attended by figures such as Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, Jenson Button, and Nico Rosberg. His family chose to have him cremated, with his ashes partially scattered in the sea. Lewis Hamilton said, "Saying goodbye to Jules was incredibly hard for everyone. For myself, I wish I had known him better, but from what I knew of him, he was a kind heart with a great spirit and a bright future." The events of October the 5th, 2014 forever changed Formula One. Jules Bianchi's death highlighted the need for constant safety improvements. May he rest in peace and be remembered not only for the potential he had, but the person he was. As always, this is not an AI channel, I do everything myself, and if you appreciate my work, subscribe, and if you want to go the extra step to support the channel, maybe consider becoming a member. Let me know what you think about this case in the comments below, and as always, thank you for watching.